Okay, Jonathan, we're sending you back in time.
Before television, radio, even before soft drinks. Careful. Anything you do could change history.
Mum's the word.
Activate time travel mode to the year 1885.
He's there.
Hey, where's my Pepsi?
It's... Oh, no. He took it.
Relax, Smith. What could 12 ounces of Pepsi possibly change?
Yeah, what could happen?
Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
Okay, Jonathan, we're sending you back in time.
Before television, radio, even before soft drinks. Careful. Anything you do could change history.
Mum's the word.
Activate time travel mode to the year 1885.
He's there.
Hey, where's my Pepsi?
It's... Oh, no. He took it.
Relax, Smith. What could 12 ounces of Pepsi possibly change?
Yeah, what could happen?
Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
Bienvenidos. Welcome to the Pablo Verse podcast. Chilling here today with Han Pablo and hosted by Yo. by Yo. Pablo Punk. So we were kind of like going off mic and talking about Joe Rogan.
Yeah, like I think it was yesterday. Yesterday they were talking about like Atlantis could be in like the fucking Sahara Desert, you know, at this place. I don't know, he's talked about all this shit like a million fucking times.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, like, they're talking about how like civilization pretty much got wiped out by a comet or comet debris, like around like 12,000 years ago, essentially, and that was Atlantis. And at the time, like, the Sahara could have been was a like tropical environment, and then of course, you know, all this shit gets fucking destroyed and whatnot, and well, I don't know. I was just kind of taking it a step further by saying, like, well, what if some of them survived, right? Because they were talking about how, like, the Egyptians were almost, like, they get a lot more credit for, but, like, they probably didn't do half the shit that they get credit for. Like, they were probably being handed down technology and architecture from, like, civilizations way before them.
Thank you.
Essentially. Yes. And so my thing is what if they broke off after this, like the ones who survived, right? And they're the fucking aliens. Because I mean, if they were already super advanced back then and they somehow survived, like, why would you participate with the rest of us idiots in the normal world? You know, like if they were doing that shit, you know, 10, 11,000 years ago, like, they're definitely got fucking spaceships.
Yeah, so
and we're just idiots with nuclear missiles.
If you were to look at, like, if something were to happen right now, fucking, and the whole grid goes down, like, we
are fucked, dude.
Yes, we're fucked. But like, think about this.
That's pandemonium instantly.
It's absolute pandemonium, but, like, just suspend disbelief that this could happen, just to illustrate something. So, like, you're at a port, and you're like, man, you know, you got all these different people from all over the world on this boat, and they're like, yeah, well, we could go back to Japan, and then you got a bunch of other people from, like, the southern states of America, and they're like, okay, we'll go on this boat with this guy. He thinks Japan survived, for some fucking reason, and you go over to Japan, and pretty much everything's wiped the fuck out, and now you have just, like, some people who know how to build Acadian homes but don't know how to build these new fucking skyscrapers, and they build these Acadian homes around like whatever Tokyo type shit is going on is left like standing. And as generations go down, people start conflating like, yeah, we built that thing too. But you didn't build that thing. You inherited this thing. You
Right.
inherited that architecture, but you built Acadian homes. So, so then there would be stories about, yeah, there was like Tokyo, and then this happened, and that would kind of be like, yeah, there's this god Tokyo, and he built that building. Like things would become conflated so much, and then one day, after generations and generations of like all this talk about Tokyo and these like ancient civilizations now that no one has a point of reference for, that just sound like gods, like they don't know how they built this shit, because now you're the great grandson of an apocalypse survivor, and you just see a F-16 fly over one day. It'd be like, what the fuck was that? Like, but somebody survived the apocalypse and has F-16 somewhere, and you just have no reason to know what the fuck that is. That shit's alien. Like, if you were to see an F-16 4 generations move from apocalypse, and and then it just flies over your fucking head.
I think like by 4 generations, yeah, people, they'd be treating shit like modern technology we consider today would be like a fucking myth. Yeah. You know, by 4 generations, like a cell phone, like what the fuck? Like, what does this do? Like they wouldn't know how to even turn it on or what to do with it, or I mean, yeah, just I remember lost by that point.
I remember talking to Josh about shit, and I was like, you know, like we take for granted shit that came out like a long time ago. Like I was like, he's like, yeah, like a record player, and I thought about it. I was like stoned, and I had to think about it really hard, and I was like, I get how it works. He's like, how? And I like, but I had to like think very hard about it. And like he took a piss, and then when he came back, I was like, this is how it works. And
did you Google it?
No, I just sat there and reverse engineered it in my mind. I was like, they recorded something, and that makes and that moves a needle. It's like a reverse of a gramophone. I was like, it's got to work like a gramophone where the needle plays out the speaker, but it's like something that's coming through, and then it's leaving, but instead of leaving valleys that the record has, it makes indentions, and then you flip it over, and then or you make you pour silicone in it, and then it's gonna make a new record. But and that was generally how it worked. But what I didn't, so I was like, yeah, I got it pretty much figured out. But then I look at it, and then these fucking dudes had like metal electrolysis, like down to a fucking science. Like that's why there's gold records, and that's why like there's all these different records, is because they would print, like they would take, there was like a gold record which is like super malleable, but you can't print that many off of it, so they would have all these master records, and then they have silver records, or like whatever kind of fucking records, and then they would print it until it loses its like integrity, and then like, but there was like a copper records like that would press the most. And you just see like these people way back when fucking just dipping electrolysis pools, going back and forth. It's like, how the fuck? Now I still don't know how they figured this out. Like I thought I had a clue, but I still have no fucking clue.
But you know, it's even like more, what's even crazier is that like people like buying records now, and for the longest, while they were actually like originally making records, like they were just chasing like high fidelity.
Yes.
And like then they finally got there with like CDs and digital stuff, and then like everyone's like, fuck that, we want records, which are just technically it's kind of shit as far as fidelity's concerned. But they do have like a life of their own. But it's just wild that like people have turned back to like crap fidelity when it comes to audio,
in a way,
in chase of like a nostalgia or something, you know.
I definitely think a lot of it's nostalgia, but I do think analog has something. Analog has like more high frequency, and I think, you know, you could probably EQ that shit out. But I think something breathes with analog.
There is, yeah, it does have a life of its own.
And when you make things ones and zeros, like this is what I don't get. This would be proof to your point that people don't know what the fuck's going on. When you have a record player that has Bluetooth, it's like, bro, why would you ever fucking take an analog signal and then make it ones and zeros right out, like, Why would you Bluetooth out your like you went out through all this trouble to make a organic thing?
And then made it even shittier with Bluetooth.
Yes, it made it ones and zeros Bluetooth. You defeated the purpose.
Yeah. I've seen it done. It's not
Yeah.
good.
Tell me what you tell the people what you saw today, Han Pablo.
You want me to tell the story?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to mention any places or anything.
Yeah,
but
don't do that.
So
That's a lot of work trying not to mention the place.
no, because like I don't want to be all douchey about it and shit because like it I mean like I told y'all earlier what happened, but at the same time like man, that shit really freaked me out because at the time I was just anyway, all right, let me just start. So I was at work and I saw like these two bucket truck crews working on a power line, and so they were finishing up, I think, or maybe starting. I'm not quite sure, and they were closing a fuse, and I had my back turned to them. And all of a sudden I hear, it's like this electric noise, and I feel heat on the back of my neck. And this crew is probably about 30, 40 feet away from me at most. And I turn around just in time to see this arc flash from the pole to the bucket truck. And I didn't quite know what was going on. So obviously I fucking book it. I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm like, I don't want to get hit by something or whatever. So I go find the nearest hard place to cover, and so when I look back, they're lowering these two bucket trucks down, and man, like the front of the buckets are charred black and shit, and there's just like smoke pouring off of these things, and one of the guys who's in one of the trucks is yelling to fucking take it down, and I look at the second bucket and I notice that there's no one in it. Where there was just a second ago, and there's like smoke pouring out this thing, and then it occurs to me, I was like, holy fuck, man, like I just watched somebody die.
Right.
And I was in disbelief because I mean like I've had jobs but in the past, and this, where like I've handled dead people before, and so like it's nothing new to me, but like that was wild. I was like, holy shit, I just saw someone get fried. Like, that was totally not cool. And then just a few seconds after that, this guy pops up from inside the bucket, and he has no hair left. It melted off. His shirt is gone. Where his shirt was is now second-degree burns all over his body and
does
his
this
face.
shit look like
he looked like a fucking cartoon character?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Like black, charcoal, and fucking smoldering.
Wow.
And I'm not gonna lie, like at first, like I was just like, holy shit, dude. I mean, because I could have swore I said this guy was fucking dead, man. Like, there's no way that you live through this. But sure as fuck, man, he's alive. And I'm looking at him, and man, like for a second there, like, dude, it almost hit me in like a really emotional way because I was like it was almost like I said, like seeing God. I was just like,
wow.
Like you almost watch what you could have swore was somebody dying right in front of you.
Like why wouldn't he?
Why wouldn't he die? Like after, I mean, like, dude, I felt the heat off this thing from 30 feet away. Like, there's no way this guy lived right in front of it, and it was like to see, like, I don't know this guy, like I don't know who he is, and like just to see a complete stranger just straight cheat what should have been a violent fucking death. And the only thing I could think of, I was just like, wow, man, like someone or something or God is watching over you, man.
Yeah.
And it was like I said, it was kind of like an emotional moment because I was just like, wow, I just witnessed the power of God just shield someone from what should have been a certain fucking death.
Yeah. Dude fucking just complete smoke bombed.
Yeah, and again, man, I mean, like, and if this dude ever hears this, fucking props, bro. Like, congratulations, you get another day. Like,
hell yeah, dude.
You are the luckiest motherfucker on earth.
Take that shit. Take that shit to the bank.
Yeah, and I mean it's just wild because I mean like you see some people will see a car accident or something in their lifetime, but like that is something you don't ever expect that you'll see, and much less to see someone cheat certain death. Man,
Absolutely.
that was the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that's fucking wild, dude.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Woo.
Fuck that. I would never.
Yeah, I'm good.
This is why I'm not an electrician.
I had one time I was just sitting on my floor as a kid and I just put the phone charger in my mouth for no reason. I was and I was like, oh fuck. It was like 5 cup of coffees at once. It was
Dude,
just
I
like,
think
whoa.
I have been shocked like twice in my life. Once was plugging in a hot glue gun as a kid.
Okay.
And it wasn't even, I mean, obviously just got fucking hit. It was just an outlet. And then the second time was like a broken Christmas light, and I must have touched it on accident, I guess, and it shocked me. But it wasn't that bad. But like, not power pole strength, arc flash. You know, that was just the craziest shit ever, man. I mean, bruh.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah. That guy is lucky as fuck.
The other dude, because you told me a story earlier. The other dude who reached over to move his bucket is a fucking boss.
Yeah,
that dude's a boss.
Let me give props to this guy because I did see him and he was an older dude, like probably in his early 60s, maybe mid 60s. And in the middle of this fucking arc flash happening, he reaches over from his bucket into that guy's bucket to the controls and starts to fucking pull the bucket away from the pole to stop the fucking arc from...
Amazing, dude.
Bruh.
Fucking quick.
Straight G, bro. Straight fucking G.
Yeah,
like, that guy deserves all the props because he may have, in fact, saved that other dude's life.
Yeah.
And if anything, just proved he was a straight fucking boss.
He was playing fucking point guard for fucking God right there.
He was, man. And he was wigged the fuck out too. Don't get me wrong. He was freaking, bro. Like when he was, I overheard him talking to the guy for the energy service, and yeah, man, he thought that guy was dead, man. Because I saw him peering down into the other bucket as they were lowering it, dude. And I saw him looking into it, and the other guy wasn't getting up. And I was like, he's fucking dead. I was like, he's looking at his dead friend. And I was like, holy shit. And then the guy popped up just fried but alive. And it's just like, dude, what the fuck? Like, this dude's alive. Holy shit. I wanted to go over there and tell him something, but I figured he had more important shit than some stranger telling him congratulations on not dying.
That dude's gonna have so many fucking beers.
Oh my god, dude. If he is not drunk as fuck right now, sir, you are failing at life. Like, because I would go home and have a shot.
Give him at least till tomorrow.
Fuck that, bro.
He might be in the hospital still.
Maybe. And I'd be asking for a shot even from the hospital bed. Be like, bitch, y'all gonna give me something, motherfucker? Like, I just lived.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. Fuck. But we are supposed to be talking about something here. I think we're doing a movie review of some sort.
Yeah, we're doing a movie review. I mean...
Well, not a review, but I think we're going to break down some shit. Or, I'm not breaking down shit. I'm just here to ask the questions. And,
okay.
And, well...
How many minutes are we into this guy?
Fuck if I know. A lot.
Really?
Maybe. Probably not. But...
Oh. We're 18 minutes in.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
That's not so bad.
But, yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and say this ahead of time. I've seen Tenet once over the course of 2.5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was definitely drunk the first time. And I think I passed out. I mean, it's a long fucking movie.
It's a fucking long movie.
Yeah, and I think I remember seeing it, and I was like, oh, cool. I was like, I remember this movie coming out. This looks dope. And so I started watching it, and I'm not even, like I said, full disclosure, man, I was confused as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, extremely confused as fuck.
You could definitely ask me the fucking plot points, because, like, what I have,
I remember bits and pieces, and like the second day, I started watching it again from where I left off, and I was like, I'm still lost, but I'm trying.
Fast.
Yes.
They talk very fast.
And then the third day when I finished it, I was like, I'll never get this time back, and I still don't understand what the fuck I just saw. So I'm really hoping that, I mean, obviously, like, I don't expect you to break down like the plot or anything like that, because I mean, I did see it, but I would like to understand at least like what the fuck I saw.
Yeah,
and it's to my understanding, like you said, like there's supposed to be like not hidden meaning, but I guess metaphor and all whatever the fuck.
I'm looking to pick up where we left off from last podcast, talking about the evolution of storytelling. And there's some of these ideas that are floating around on the interwebs. Some of the things you're going to see are not like unique to our podcast or anything, but a lot of what you're going to see is unique. I caught this film on the way home from Chile, and that's a 9-hour flight. And I watched it one time. I went, "Oh, I gotta watch the beginning. That's where the end is." And then I watched the beginning. I was like, "Oh yeah, that's like where the end is." And then I started picking up on some things, and this is plot stuff. But I started going, "Oh wait, okay, I get I get the gist of what's happening here." But I like Christopher Nolan. This is a guy who I think is a master of his craft. I had suspicions of certain type of occult affiliations he might have.
Like what?
A Freemason. I thought he might have been a Freemason. Because Freemasons hide the secret of their craft within their craft. And this movie confirmed that for me. And I'll explain why. But if you have questions about plot points, throw them at me.
Yeah. Before we start,
yeah.
And I'm not trying to be a condescending dick here.
Yes.
But like the first flag, not even flag, but just the first thing I think of is, do you think at some point like the guy's just like maybe self-absorbed, or like one of them people?
Christopher Nolan?
Yeah, maybe just like, I don't know, maybe sucking his own dick possibly.
He has one specific theme that he has stuck to, and it's about redemption. This is something that I've never heard. This is where a character could become his own Christ figure. If you've seen the protagonist, not the protagonist, the Prestige. It's a brother who saves another brother. If you watch Interstellar, it's a guy in a black hole. Tons of spoilers here. It's a guy who goes into a black hole and saves himself from being in the black hole. And
I actually liked Interstellar. That one was understandable at the very least.
But the plot, but the thing is, he gets more and more nuanced and abstract with this thing about the character becoming a Christ figure for himself. So in Interstellar, it's very subtle because he's in the black hole, and then they pick him up outside the black hole.
Right.
It's like, well, the version of him that's in the black hole is still in the black hole. Like you can't escape forever. Once you're in eternity, you're never escaping that.
He did escape at the very end. I mean, I guess. Well,
if you're in forever, think about it. If you're in forever, you escape the time space, and you're outside of time space. You never come back. There's a version of him that is.
Oh yeah,
on the outside,
that's
because there's a 2D plane of a black hole.
True,
so there's a 2D plane of a black hole, and then that's where all the information's left. It's kind of obviously not realistic, because he would be spaghettified across like the plane of the black hole. But there's a version of him that's 3D version of him that's in the black hole, and then he saves himself by giving them the good. But it doesn't necessarily mean that he ever really escapes that black hole.
Because all those moments in the Tesseract still, I guess, technically continue to exist forever.
Right.
So, and in a form of that, he is still in there.
Right.
Because someone's got to be pushing the books for forever in there.
Yes.
So
once you're out of space time, you can't just come back.
Fuck me. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, so that he gets more subtle with it, and Prestige was he played with it where
I don't
a brother.
know if I've ever seen that movie.
Watch that movie, cover your ears. But the brother saves a brother, and there's another guy who never knows what end of the way he's gonna fall on this enigma. And in The Prestige, we see the same thing, but it's more nuanced. And I think we could get into that. And I'm going to talk about the points. I have somewhat of like a list, but let's see. Pull up the 98 browser. Okay, so we're talking about Tenet. No fucking surprise.
Is that
here.
what that is? That's like a 98 emulator, or is that actually
It's just
Windows
yeah,
98?
It's Windows 98 screen like desktop, and then I have
cool.
like the little QR code in the corner.
Huh.
But yeah, so talk about Tenet, Christopher Nolan, 2019 film. Boom, we already know that. Okay, so the whole film is encoded with the Sator Square. The Sator Square is the first original magic square that we know of, and it was found in Pompeii. What is a magic square? A magic square is something that you encode something with.
Is this real?
This is real. This was discovered in Pompeii. This is people believe the Knights Templar made it. It translates in Latin roughly to "you reap what you sow," and in the middle, basically, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words, and they go forwards, and then
Right, I see that.
and then they go backwards at the bottom, and then there's Tenet, which is the cross section of all of these words. It's a genius meme, they call it. They even call it a meme. So of the ancient times, and again, it translates to "you reap what you sow," and it was made by Knights Templar. If you look at the A's on this engraving, you're going to notice something kind of weird about the A's. Notice that.
Yeah, they got that angled downwards.
Yeah, what does that remind you of? Anything?
A pencil or a mountain.
Does it remind you of like a compass, like a Freemason compass?
Oh.
I've looked up the etymology of that A. It doesn't come up as anything naturally Latin. I've studied Latin. It doesn't come up as anything naturally Greek that I know of. So it is interesting. So you have Sator, which is the Russian character. We'll get more into him. You have Arepo, which is the artist that made that painting that becomes blackmail for Sator's wife. You know, we're not going to get too much, unless you have like direct questions. I'm not going to get too much into this stuff. Tenet is the crossword, like there's the secret word and name of the film. Opera, there is a scene in the opera house. And there is Rotas. Rotas is a security company that manages the airport where Arepo's painting is in. So just that you can see those references. So what we're going to pay attention to here is in the film, every character's name has a meaning. There's no fucking mistake here. Like if you think there's a mistake, there's a reason why there's a discrepancy. So we're going to go just like that word Tenet was in that Sator Square and it intertwined between everything. The secret phrase or the secret hand sign is where all the fingers interlock together on both hands, kind of like you're sleeping or you're in a psychiatrist's chair and you're like, you got it on your chest, you know, that kind of thing you do. And the character that introduces Tenet, John, the main character, he introduces him to this secret organization called Tenet, and he gives him that hand sign, the fingers interlocking, and his name is credited as Faye. So I'm going to bring up what Faye is. Faye, the definition of Faye, is to fit or join closely or tightly. So it's basically his name is what he does. Faye is also, fun fact, a word for angel or fairy or angel. Fairies and angels kind of go back and forth. I'll leave that apart, but I know that literature that like Tale of Two Cities, fairy and angels are kind of hinted at as the same thing. Tale of Two Cities is a big inspirational thing for Christopher Nolan. Anyway, we have a big plot thing. So this whole movie is about time travel. There is basically this thing that can encode something to go backwards in time or forwards in time, and it operates as red and blue rooms. And if you go in one room, it'll send you backwards, and you go in one room, it'll send you back forwards, right? Well, basically, let me see how this is going to work out. What's my next slide? So there's a scene after he dies or succeeds in the test, and he wakes up in the hospital, and just point out that his IV has 2 tabs. It's blue and red, or blue and like an orange. So this is symbolic of a point where he's been traveling through time, and he goes back in time, kills himself. It's like a figure 8. It's like the center of a figure 8, where he is at this point where he's waking up from killing himself and eating that pill, but he's in between the future and the past. He's actually in the present. It's where the test keeps overlapping. It's like a figure 8 that just keeps cycling up.
Right.
And that's kind of the movie. And what you'll realize too when you watch the film, a good pointer to look at to where you're not looking at one character. There's multiple versions of him floating around. Is in the heist when they're trying to steal the algorithm or like this thing, he grabs it and he goes, "I've never seen this type of encasement." But if you go to the beginning of the film, there's 2 versions of him. At least there's one who's running to grab that piece of the algorithm that's hidden already, and then there's another one who's grabbing it in a room. And he goes, "I've never seen this encasement." So we have at least 2 versions of him. But if you keep looking, there's more versions of him in the opera house. So it's basically him keep trying to reconcile the past with the future, and we're going to talk about this a little bit more, is referred to as the protagonist. And everyone's fighting over the protagonist, but let me go back. Why you can also hint, you can tell that you're not looking at the same death scene is if you look at the train cars in the background. There's like these cars, you got tankers and all this stuff, but if you pull up the next one, you just got random trains with completely different trains in the background. And that's when the clock stops. Certainly, that's not a coincidence. This is supposed to be a hint that you're looking at multiple endpoints of his. One's a test and one he kills himself, or it's this infinite test that he's stuck in that he can never escape. But the thing is, he keeps waking up in the hospital after a different version of events happens. So now we talked about the protagonist. There's a fight about the protagonist. There's this Indian character named Priya, and she is kind of a shadowy figure. She knows who the Russian guy is, who knows how to try and travel, but she doesn't really work with John directly. It's like they have to cause a whole scene for her to get information from her. She's part of Tenet as well. She makes like the hand sign on a wine glass. Also, she's like, "You're not the protagonist." He's like, "I'm the protagonist." John's like, "I'm the protagonist." So what's not a coincidence is there's a woman named Priya. Priya doesn't show up on the Seder Square, but it does show up, coincidentally, as an author, Priya Satya. Time's Monster, History, Conscience, and Britain's Empire. That's been republished as Time's Monster, How History Becomes History. So it becomes this thing where she describes history as protagonists. So if you know history as America, then you know America's version of events, and you can look back on America and what happened in America and go and learn from their history from their point of view. For example, like we look at Hitler in World War II from our point of view,
right?
And we go, "Oh, Hitler is the absolute evil." But if you look at it as he's the protagonist, you can learn something completely different. You go, "Wait. This art school fucked up." First off, this art school fucked up. Second off, the Weimar Republic.
You ever actually see his artwork?
Yeah, his artwork's not that bad.
No, it's actually not that bad.
Yeah.
I'm fuck draws better than me.
All the graphic designers that fucking make fun of him like today are like couldn't do what he did.
Fuck no, man. Look, I couldn't do what he did, man. Like I said, he's fucking talented. I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's to my understanding too. Like he almost got smoked in World War One.
Yes.
There was I think it was like a British soldier or something let him live.
Holy shit! I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had the gun pointed at him, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, unless History Channel's lying to me, those fucking bastards. But they might not be.
I heard a story that like there was a priest that saved Hitler too, because Hitler was like drowning as a kid, and then the priest saved him.
That I don't know. But from what I understand, like I said, he almost got smoked in World War One, and he was lived. And, you know, well, we all know how that turned out. World would have been way different if he just would have shot him.
Way different.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not that nice. I probably would have just shot him. Been like, fuck it. It's one less
Kraut.
one less prisoner.
Is Kraut German? What is Kraut?
I think that was like, but that was like Nazi slang in like World War II. I don't know if they called them Krauts in World War One. Fuck, they might have. It was like, you know, for sauerkraut. Sauerkraut. You know?
Oh, right.
Yeah, you know, like you would put on a hot dog or something. Sauerkraut.
Right. Well, okay. So my point is that there's this
Who's this woman?
She's the author of this book, Priya. Her name's Priya, just like the character, coincidentally. Right. And she wrote a book called Time's Monster: How History Becomes History.
When did this come out?
That's a good question. It came out well before the movie. It's been republished now. I have the republished book. And it talks about history and how basically if you can look at history through a different protagonist lens, you can understand the lessons you're trying to learn. Just like this character keeps going to the future and to the past to learn a lesson and then have like a new ascension where he dies and he wakes up in the hospital and he has a higher understanding. Just like that. And everybody else is fighting for the protagonist.
Published October 20th, 2020.
No shit.
Yes.
No shit. There's no coincidence. There's no way. He must have been... See, that's the thing. He must have been talking to her because... Well,
yeah, because why else would...
Because she says protagonist. And like you open the book and it's like protagonist, protagonist, protagonist. With him as the protagonist. And then her name just happens to be Priya. Also, there's times... Was that 2020?
It just says originally published 2020.
Yeah, but now do History, Conscience, and Britain's Empire. That was the original title. I think it was republished.
History, Conscience, and Britain's Empire. Yeah, 2020.
Oh, shit.
October 20th, 2020.
The mystery thickens. The mystery thickens because...
They must have been talking. I'm with you on that. Like,
yes,
maybe she was a source of inspiration for the book. Who knows? Maybe they're friends.
Has to be because everything else.
Why the fuck else? I mean, that's a pretty particular name.
Protagonist
I mean,
keeps calling.
Well, fuck Priya. Like who the?
Yes.
I don't know anybody named Priya. This is the first time I've ever heard of it besides the movie.
And when I pick up the book, it's just like, oh yeah, like he's a protagonist, and with the Quakers as the protagonist, it's pretty crazy. She made a lot of good points. Like I literally will read 10 pages of the book and have to make a whole page of notes. It's fucking amazing. Won't get into it, but next point is this just a movie about how our perception in the present changes how we see the past, or
is it one man sucking his own dick?
Maybe, but this is
just fucking around.
This is where it gets really fucking creepy.
Okay.
So remember that opera house scene, right?
Yes. I do remember that.
So there's all this cool shit where they run in, and there's like some terrorist, and he stops the opera, and they start spraying gas into the fucking opera house. Well, that happened in real life. I believe it happened in real life in 1998, and it happened not as the movie showcases it in Ukraine, but it happened in Russia. There was a Russian play called Nord-Ost, and it was a Russian romance that spanned like 50 years, and they even built a special theater just for it, the Palace of Culture, the Culture Palace, I believe.
Okay.
And this dude built this theater, wrote this play, and it was supposed to unite everybody after everyone was jaded from the Soviet Union falling.
Okay.
Basically, everything that they had was all conspiratorial, and nobody trusted anybody. And this was like a way to unite people and be like, it's a happy-go-lucky thing. So we basically have a play, well, we have a movie we're talking about that is about how you can change the past to change the future. And we have this moment in history where a guy is rewriting the past to control the future, right? Well, it doesn't just end there, because the Russians were in a fight with the Chechens at the time, and no one supported the war.
Right.
Well, Interstage Left comes in the Chechens during one of these plays and starts taking hostages. Well, it's amazing that this play was this entire theater was designed already just for this play, because once they started taking hostages, they entered some gas into the theater and knocked everybody out. There was an overdose. Some people did die. There was quite a few casualties. There was actually a lot. And the Russians never wanted to admit this. They kind of had to at some point, but it was fentanyl, gaseous fentanyl in 1998.
Really?
Yes. So just like this movie is talking about how you can change the present by changing the past, and then that makes a new future. This artist was rewriting the past to unite people in the present and then coincidentally a terrorist attack was hitting it, and then it changed the present, and it also changed the past of the Chechens. They were able to rewrite the history of the Chechens, conquer the Chechens, and got all the support. So this movie is telling you how art works, just like a repo, the artist works in the film. He has this they have a whatever, and then the whole movie is centered around this artwork. But that's enough, I think, for that. But you get to this point. Now we're going to start talking about real-world implications, geopolitical implications of this movie. Remember I said that you have this Priya character who's a double agent. She can't really trust her. She wants to be her own protagonist. Let's back up one second. Look at all the characters as representations of their country. You have John, an American. You have Neil, a Brit. You have Priya, the Indian. You have Sater, the Russian. What's happening in this plot? You have Sater, who has some crazy world-ending technology, and he has cancer. And everybody's worried that he's going to kill the world because he has cancer and he's going to take the world with him. You have Priya, who wants to be the protagonist, which we know is a metaphor. She wants to control her own history, just because from the book. And she is a double agent with the West because she wants to control her own history the way India wants to control their own history.
Right.
And she's also working with Russia the same way. Well, coincidentally, Russia is working with India and vice versa right now with oil. We shut Russia off from the rest of the world. India is working with them. We don't know if India is going to side with us against well, here's another coincidence. Sater, the Russian that has cancer. Well, we don't know if they're going to side with us or side with the guy with cancer. Vladimir Putin using foreign treatment to treat his cancer and allow him to continue directing the Ukraine war. So we're getting to a movie that happened before the Ukraine war that makes commentary on how art changes the past and is telling you the future right in front of your fucking face before the Ukraine war happened. And like I said, the one thing that they changed was the location of the play. And it was in real life, it was in Russia. In the movie, it's in Ukraine. They were telling you right to your fucking face that the theater's moving to Ukraine. We're fighting over the history of Ukraine, the way Russia fought over their own history and to Chechen's control of the Chechen history. And coincidentally, he has cancer. Coincidentally, the Indian character's a double agent, just like India is in the real world. It's just, these things just start lining up, and you're like, how did he predict the future? Any questions? I'll just stop right there.
Did you hear he was threatening to use nukes if they start to lose? That came out. It was like yesterday or something. I was just thinking of this.
Amazing.
Sore losers, but
I don't know. Is that sore losing?
It really kind of is, man. And look, let me break this down, dude. I'm not a geopolitical politics expert, but hear me out. I am fucking tired. I am so tired. The last 3 years have been the absolute fucking worst. Absolute most terrible fucking days of life, at least in the last, since Vietnam.
Since Vietnam, yeah.
Since Vietnam.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. I think that's safe to assume.
Yeah.
God damn, bro. Just give it a fucking break, my dude. Like,
preach.
This is not a time for fucking violence, bro. This is a time for chilling the fuck out. you want to go use your guns against something, just go fucking target practice, bro. It's good anger management. Just go shoot something. Do you really need to take over countries? Like, why aren't we mad at China? I mean, they just put us through all this fucking bullshit.
And then we just forget about it.
And we just forget about it because we're like, oh no, like we owe them a lot of money. And then Putin's like, you know what I'm gonna do? Let's invade a country. Fuck it. Let's make it interesting. And if I lose, I'm gonna use nukes. And meanwhile, I'm just like, can I have my income from 3 years ago, please, back? Like, I'm just trying to fucking make it. Just trying not to be a dick.
But Joe,
fuck Joe. He don't even. I would say he doesn't understand, but he doesn't. He doesn't even know realistically. Like
he barely is.
Yeah, he barely is.
Yeah,
the big guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I look at this whole situation, and when they start talking about it, it's like, yeah, we're gonna fucking nuke shit. And it's just like, bro, just calm the fuck down, man. Like, why are you doing this? Like, why can't you just lose gracefully? Like,
because he knows it's all bullshit.
Yeah,
he knows it's all bullshit.
But there was losing before nukes. There was, like, you didn't always have to take out the rest of the fucking world. Like, goddamn. Like,
but Russia's the one.
We're already gonna get taken the fuck out by Earth. Like, do we need nukes to accelerate the process?
Russia's like one of the last countries, white countries that isn't part of the world order.
Hey,
and they want to control their own people and their own history, and they want the old way of doing things. We don't like that. NATO doesn't want that, and he wants control of his port. We got involved in a civil war that many people favored being associated with the Russians, but if they didn't want to be part of the EU, then
can we at least both agree though that I'm majorly disappointed in their capabilities as a military. And look, I mean, in some ways, I guess, like, you can't say much because, like we just fought Afghanistan and Iraq for 20 years. But at the same time, too, though, like, I feel like we gave them a whole lot of credit that was probably undeserved after watching how they do things.
Yeah, who gave them credit though?
Oh, I mean, the rest of the world gave them credit, I guess.
All the movies, the Russian bad guys.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but then we realized, like, they couldn't do simple things like establish fucking supply infrastructure and logistics. Like,
to be fair,
important things when it comes to winning military engagements.
To be fair, though, Putin has no interest in. It's an asymmetric war. Ukraine can throw as many rocks at Russia as they want, but if Russia wants Ukraine, they have to fucking beat them with paper mitts. Like, they can't really lay into them the way that you would do an enemy country, because at the end of the day, we got involved in a civil war where a lot of people thought they identified as Russian. So why would Papa Putin want to hurt his babies?
Well, I think
even if he was capable of doing it, which I'm not saying he is,
I think he thought it was going to be like 2014. Honestly, I think he probably thought they were just going to lay over and it was going to be a maybe 2 months at the most, and he was just going to roll through and take over shit. And turns out people don't like living under the thumb, man. And I mean, I get it. I mean,
wow.
That's
there's half of the people that wanted to live under the thumb before we got involved.
And look, man, like, we're Americans, right? I mean, like, I can't even pretend to understand what that would be like. I would imagine, essentially, it's the same as, like, the United States and Canada's relationship. Or maybe it's the same as, like, I don't know, Tennessee is to New York or something like that.
It would be more like Canada and
to Mexico.
Canada and Cajun French.
Yeah.
There is an ethnic thing
yeah.
there.
Like Canada was all of a sudden like, "Hey, Louisiana, we want you back," and we're just like, it's been so long. Fuck you guys.
and
and
some people are like, it's been so long, yeah.
You know, and they just started, you know, speaking French to each other and shit. But then, like, the rest of
French
Louisiana
nothings.
that's not Lafayette was like, no, fuck you. And, you know, and so I guess so, yeah.
And then all the coon asses have all the guns,
but then,
and they would win the Civil War. But then somebody was like, "Somebody give guns to the fucking other guys, please. Don't let Louisiana just join Canada. It makes no fucking sense." But Canada's like, "We need a port. We need a port." It's the same thing. It's literally the same setup.
That's actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. That's a good equation to it.
Yeah. Well, I did have a point.
I didn't mean to just go off on like a 20-minute tirade shitting on Russia.
No.
But I mean, like I said, I think they're fucking up, and I really think that Putin just needs to chill the fuck out. I think that we already have enough problems to worry about in the world that are, you know, not.
But his world, and
yeah, but fuck
Russia's,
that, man. Do you realize though, if you just weren't a dick, no one gives a fuck about invading you. Like, dude,
NATO exists,
but motherfuckers haven't invaded countries like big countries. We haven't invaded big countries in almost a century. Like, get the fuck over it, bro.
Hollywood just coincidentally keeps making Russians the bad guys. Everyone keeps talking about the Russians being the bad guys. That's a coincidence.
Because they're dicks.
NATO exists just to keep fucking encroaching in on them. We just got involved in the Civil War by coincidence. No, I think we're the ones picking shit with Russia.
Well, yeah, no, look, we are. We are.
We're finally.
Yeah, well, we're totally instigating this shit, and I think what's happening is like the more that their military incompetence becomes clear, like, the harder than the paint they go in contributing. But the problem is Russia's like, okay, well, we're just stupid enough to use nukes then. And you can't discount them because they could.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you do about that? It's just like, we don't need that right now. Please. Like, there's already enough, man. Like, just calm the fuck down. Like they're over here arresting people for weed vapes, but someone should really be hitting the weed vape. Like, it's got to be in a confiscated locker somewhere. You know, maybe an evidence room. Like, someone needs to dig Brittany Griner's weed vape out and give it to Vladimir Putin and be like, yo, you need to get smoked, my dude, because, like,
he needs that medicinal.
You really
weed
do
for his
need
cancer.
Well, not only that, but obviously he's fucking angry, bro. I mean, dude needs to chill the fuck out. I'm just saying, man. Like, for the sake of all of humanity, chill the fuck out. I mean, it's completely unnecessary. I mean, people get fucked way harder on a daily basis and don't want to pull out nukes. You know. I'm just saying. To me, it makes perfect sense.
Fucking go nuclear every day.
Yeah, I don't go nuclear every day. I have to deal with stupid fucking people every single day of my entire life, and never once have I pulled out the nuke, you know, and did a, you know, yeah, never once. I'm just saying.
Yes, there was a reason why to bring up this movie in relation to the last podcast, because I believe it is an evolution of the medium, and that there's a Stanley Kubrick moment here. Stanley Kubrick had 2001: Space Odyssey is his favorite scene with the monolith. Mm-hmm. A lot of people say that was his nod to him knowing what the new screen format was going to be. So
didn't we do like a?
Yes, we did.
Okay, I thought so. When you said the monolith, and
yeah.
If you know, you know.
If you know.
If you don't, well, it's too late because you'll never see it again.
Yeah. So a lot of people thought Stanley Kubrick was nodding. His daughter says that he was nodding to the new screen format. Now we have it in our hands. It's a cell phone. So I believe that this is the new, in this movie, in Tenet, there's a nod to the new medium.
What is that?
The algorithm. The algorithm is the new medium. The algorithm is the medium in which a country can control its own history and delete the past.
And a lot more.
And it is also the medium in which the user itself, the single user on the micro, is becoming his own protagonist because the algorithm shapes the world to the way he wants to see it. So the algorithm is the perfect tool to keep a protagonist view on history in the world. That's why we can see it in today where everyone's waking up. TikTok is China's Trojan horse, or everyone's banning government workers from using TikTok. Well, that's what happens when you let another protagonist algorithm in your shit.
Yeah.
So that I believe it was all, the entire movie was predicting the future, telling you how the past is rewritten, telling you how terrorist attacks are orchestrated, and nodding to galvanize people in the present to rewrite the past and manipulate, what can happen in the future. And it was also a spectacular nod to the new medium, which is the algorithm, which makes us all the protagonists in our own little phone world, and the overruling government that controls the algorithm controls its past and present and future.
Word.
Yeah. Was that schizophrenic or cohesive?
No, it was. It's funny because, like, as we're talking about this, I had to think to myself, and I was like, yo, is this some shit that, like, if I was listening to someone telling me this, would I think this is a crazy person?
Yeah.
And it was on Fringe, but it's really not. I mean, like, it could be worse. And
yeah,
it really could be, because I'm going to tell you what, like, and again, I'm not revealing, like, sources or anything, but at my other job, my second job, we got a, dude, this is the craziest shit ever.
A black Israelite?
No,
wow,
dude.
I thought that's where it was going.
No, we got, we get mail at the shop all the time, and my boss, jokingly handed me this letter, and he's like, I don't know what the fuck this is. He's like, you may not want to touch it. I don't know if it's got anthrax or some shit. And I was laughing. I was like, what the fuck is this? He's like, I don't know, open it. So, I opened it up, and it was some guy paid postage to send this to the shop.
Okay.
And it was scribbled, I think it said Patriot on the front, but I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
And inside of it was like 6 pages of, like, Bible rantings and hand-drawn fucking symbols and numbers and question marks and fucking circled shit. Like, it was, and like the Star of David and all kind. I mean, bruh, it looked like, if you've ever seen one of these movies where they depict, like, a crazy person who's just gone mad and they've just drawn out all this shit on, like, their prison cell walls.
Yeah.
But condensed.
Like Charlie Day and fucking...
Yes, but condensed to, like, 6 pages.
Did you read it? Like, really read it to try it?
I kind of regret throwing it away or giving it back to my boss after I looked over it for a couple minutes, and I was like, this dude is fucking whacked, bruh. I was like, does this shit happen all the time? And he's like, yes. And I was like, yeah, that's what I was like, for real? I was like, dude, these people are among us. And it threw me for a loop, because, like, I'm looking at it and I was like, what the fuck is it? Like, what am I looking at? And I wish
mail, dude.
I honestly, I thought about it earlier today. I was like, fuck, I can't believe we threw that away, because I wanted to bring that here, and I probably would have, like, read some shit, and just, we could have at least seen what it would have been like in the mind of a crazy person. So he says this shit happens somewhat often, so I'm going to wait for another one.
Yes.
And my Lord, if I am still working there when this happens, I promise I will bring it and put it on this. And
Hell
Not
yeah.
because it's factual or anything, because I guarantee whoever had this was probably bipolar or tripolar or fucked up, whatever it was. Like, this shit looked so whacked, my dude. Like, so whacked, bruh. It had me like
it for like juxtaposition, just
like,
so I could know.
I promptly went and washed my hands after I handled this.
Yeah.
Because it literally could have had anthrax on it. It was pretty bad.
Who knows what kind of powder?
Dude, I don't even fucking... Bruh, yeah, it could have been the good powder. It could have been the bad powder. Fuck, could have been COVID. I don't even know. That dude was whacked the fuck out. And he paid postage. So... Like...
Amazing.
But there wasn't even, like... an intro page of like of like here's what I'm trying to get across. Right. It was literally just 6 pages of random shit.
Yeah, he didn't have an introductory paragraph.
Like what the fuck are you like? I would have probably paid more attention had he have been like, yo, there's a fucking blah 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 conspiracy and we're trying to unfuck this. And I would have been like, this is ridiculous, but I'll read it.
I'll tag along with it.
But I didn't even know. I'm looking at it and I'm like, these are religious symbols and there's like these columns with names and bank accounts.
Whoa.
And yeah, but I don't even know what the fuck I'm looking at because there's nothing telling me what the fuck it is. And I'm looking at it and there's like a Star of David with more symbols in it and fucking, again, it's all printouts, it looks like, from a website, but with like hand circled shit and notes all on it. And I'm like, what the fuck am I looking? Like, and I swear to you, I'm not fucking lying. Like, this came to the shop and I was like, who the fuck sent this? And like I said, I wish I wouldn't have given it back to my boss because I would have asked him, like, can I keep this? Like, I honestly, dude, if he sends this again, I promise if you're out there, I will call your bullshit. But I would love to see it again because it's
the bank accounts. That's
I don't even know what the fuck it was, dude. I just saw it was like names and accounts and organizations and shit, and like I don't even know what it was.
Right. This is a lot.
This dude was past Kanye levels of wild, bruh.
I mean,
he was calling him out like there was all kinds of shit. I don't even know what the fuck it was, but like I felt like I stepped inside the mind of
Mincy.
I don't even know what the fuck that was, dude. Yeah, it was not sanity.
We have a mutual friend that like he started following this one guy on YouTube. So every now and then when I would hang out with him, he'd be like, "Oh, watch this video," and it would literally just be like I don't know, fucking. I'm trying to think of somebody that's kind of like Colin Hanks it'll be like Tom Hanks. It'll be like Tom Hanks, and then like just a photo of Tom Hanks, and then it's Tom Hanks walking, and then it's like Baphomet, like a photo of Baphomet, and it's like, and then it's just like question mark, and I'm like, yeah, that's all I got, bro, is fucking question marks. And my friend's like, yeah, I like this guy. I'm like, but he doesn't say anything. He just puts random shit juxtaposed, and you're supposed to be like, "Oh, I get where you're going with this."
Yeah, because
totally.
Well, like there is a fine line between like insanity, I guess, and pointing out a conspiracy or something. And it's just like you have to look at it and it's like, okay, am I going into this territory? And I promise, at least to the best of my knowledge, we are not insane. I'm mildly drunk.
Debatable. It's debatable.
Yeah,
for me, it's debatable.
Well, you're one of the smartest people I know, so that doesn't say too much. But I'm just saying, like, I may be mildly drunk, but I am not insane. I won't make it every occurrence to be drunk on this podcast. But,
no.
I mean, fuck, we're on episode 2, so no one's listening to this shit anyway. So
we still got to figure out ways to promote.
How far are we?
We're 1 hour in and 5 minutes.
Oh shit!
So we hit the mark.
Damn. Do we have more on Tenet? I know we've gone off on Russians and then other shit that I don't even know.
I don't have any. I think I hit all the points on Tenet.
Well,
yeah.
Okay. Have we?
Yeah, I would just say the last thing I would say to this is be careful out there watching films that keep talking about simulation as a plot. I think things are going to get funky with how media evolves. And I'll leave it at that because I don't want to inspire people to listen to things and then take my idea and weaponize it. But just be careful about the new age of the new platform that is the algorithm.
So, no, I totally agree with that. I do. I think algorithms are going to be weaponized in the future and the not so distant future. And not only weaponized, I mean, I think there will be some of them that'll be like good things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think there are good things that'll come out of algorithms, AI, like things that are going to help us in the future. And even though they're like crude at the moment, I think they're still providing like a wealth of good things and at least pushing us in the right direction. But yeah, I think
what's that guy we mentioned, or you certainly know, and the KGB guy that defected that said like about how misinformation works or disinformation works.
Like it takes generations pretty much to
it takes one generation. But I think his quote was, "When they don't know what to believe is when we win." It's something like when they don't know what's real or not real, like that's when we win. It's basically like everybody questions everything to the point.
It seems like we're there.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. So imagine that you are a government and you're trying to keep your protagonist line. And it's like, this is what we believe. This is what we believe. And then when you share, and you have like algorithms that work under you, like Facebook, Instagram, Google. And whenever somebody shares something that doesn't follow that protagonist line of your history, then you make sure that their shit doesn't propagate. Their shit doesn't get shared. And then you feed them more and more conspiracy videos and conspiracy content to where they no longer believe what they believe. They no longer know what's real or not real. And basically they lose confidence in their thing because you just use the algorithm to isolate them from everybody else. And then you just fucking completely lit up the conspiracy fire underneath them while isolating them from everybody else. And the algorithm basically encloses them in a conspiracy bubble.
I could see that.
So now you take people who have valid points and you just fucking isolate them in the algorithm, and they're just like, yeah, I'm
speaking to myself.
I'm in a fucking echo chamber that's devolving fast, and then if I try to share my shit that's valid, I'm gonna get thrown into this fucking bubble.
Well, I mean,
isolated.
At least that's why Elon owns Twitter now, which is kind of nice, you know.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, it's one of the several.
At least use Twitter. You use Twitter?
No, but I'm seriously considering getting one.
Yeah.
Just cause, I mean, fuck it. Elon owns it now. I'm on Team Elon, even though he's getting fucked. But whatever. I mean,
I like how he banned Kanye quick as fuck.
I like to see him succeed.
Yeah. I don't trust him.
I mean, who the fuck is trustworthy? But if I gotta pick a few people that like I semi-trust, Elon's one of them. I mean, he's better off than most, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, guy makes fucking spaceships. At least that's cool.
That is cool. With it. Yeah, that is cool.
Still waiting. Hey, by the way, in case you ever hear this, which you probably won't, I'm still waiting on that fucking starship that was supposed to launch like 2 months ago for that orbital test launch. Yeah, it's now January 19th, 9:07-ish Central Time,
GMT
and we still ain't seen that fucking starship orbital test launch. which was supposed to come January, and now they're talking about February, March. So, look, man, you can make all the calculations you want. It's either going to fucking crash or it's not.
Yeah.
Launch this motherfucker into the orbit and see if it does it. You crashed
Fuck around and fly out.
No,
dog.
yeah, exactly. My thing is, look, bro, you done crashed like 8 starships, probably, or maybe not 8, but he crashed several starships in the process before SN-15 had a semi-good landing. Why are we so scared to blow up one fucking booster and a starship? It's a few $1 billion or $1 million. Fuck it. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a starship. It's gonna blow up anyway.
Just a starship.
It's just a starship. Fuck it. Like,
it's the one thing that he's looking forward to so much, but then it's also just a starship.
You have no idea how many times a day I just Google Starship orbital test flight just to see if there's a news article that's come out within the last few days.
Yeah.
Where I can just read some kind of update. And you know what the last one I read was?
What's that?
Starship orbital test flight pushed to late February, early March. After the article before that said Starship orbital test flight pushed from December to January.
Damn.
And that was after the article that I read, Starship orbital test flight pushed from November to December. And that was before I read the article that read, fuck me, bro. Just launch the goddamn ship. Push the red fucking button. Just why? It's not like you're going to kill anybody.
Do it for him.
Yeah.
Elon, do it for him.
It's either going to work or it won't. I mean, goddamn. Like, you don't have confidence in your fucking people when they're building a fucking engine? I mean, Look, bro, you don't test the shit before it leaves the fucking factory? Look, it fires off. Cool deal. Put it in fucking Starship booster. Look, fuck, dude, you're launching in the goddamn orbit and it's gonna splash off Hawaii. Fucking just do it. Just click the fucking button. Just launch the shit. Like, I don't understand it. Yeah, come on, Elon. I just want another fucking video. Have you ever seen the Starship highlight from SN-15 when it landed?
No, this is all Greek to me.
God damn it. You're going to have to edit this video in.
That's fine.
Can you do this?
Yeah, I can do that.
You can do this?
Yes.
I need to show you this live.
It's showing right now.
Because it's like not even that big of a video, but it's the coolest shit ever. Hold on.
We're going to end it with this.
No, we're not going to end it with this because I have one more thing after this.
Okay.
To go, but you have to see this.
Okay.
It's a minute-long video. Hold on. Wait. All right.
Tons of smoke. Oh shit. Lift off smooth. Boosters. Smooth. Dude, look at that fucking jet right there. That little flip and turn. Whoa. Doesn't look real. Every time I see one of these fucking things, it doesn't look real. It looks like Amazon fucking CG, Amazon Prime CG. No fucking way. That's fucking stupid. That makes no sense.
That was the first. That was the first successful landing. That was SN-15. That was last year. In early last year.
Yeah.
Nothing since. We have been promised a Starship booster and Starship launch. So it's going to launch with the full 30-something engines on the booster stage, bring it to orbital level, disconnect, launch Starship, orbit the Earth, I think, once or twice, and then it's going to land off the coast of Hawaii like that.
Wow. That would be
So
fucking
we're going to
sick.
get to see the booster stage with Starship on top, which together is taller than the Statue of Liberty and taller than Saturn.
Holy shit.
Or almost as tall as Saturn V, or just as tall.
Okay, that's pretty fucking fire.
Yeah.
That's pretty fire.
And
I'm
I'm just
now.
like, come the fuck on, bro. Like, why are you taking so long? Like, you're killing a nerd motherfucker like myself. Like, and I'm waiting to see this, and I feel like I'm being deprived. I'm like a fucking crack junkie waiting on a spaceship. And I mean, like, we're not killing anybody, so like, come the fuck on, bro. Press the button. Like, what's wrong? We keep getting all these cool ass pictures of a stacked Starship, but no launch. No fucking launch. So the last thing I wanted to chime in on, since we are a podcast about weed and guns, or at least titled that way.
Yes.
So the ATF.
What they did now. I don't watch the news, by the way.
Well,
Ryan's my
besides being gay,
at that.
Yeah. So essentially, the ATF, which, let me preface this by saying, first of all, the ATF is not the Congress. Okay. So the ATF cannot make laws.
Right.
All right. That's in the Constitution, right?
Yes.
We could both agree on this.
Yes.
All right. So the ATF is not Congress. So the ATF cannot make laws.
Mm-hmm.
They make regulations, quote unquote. Make my air quotes.
Right.
Except for everyone else's regulations are enforced by lawsuits and courts. The ATF's regulations are enforced by people with machine guns and attack dogs who are there to take your guns and kill your dogs.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's my first point. All right. So anyway, the ATF decided a couple days ago, they dropped their ruling that they are going to make pistol braces, quote unquote, illegal. All right.
They dropped it?
No, they dropped their
they released it.
Their ruling, so they're going to make pistol braces illegal. So in case you don't understand what a pistol brace is, for the normal person out there, the ATF defines a rifle as a rifle with a 16-inch or longer barrel. Okay, that's considered a rifle. You can put a stock on it. You could put a foregrip on it. You could put accessories on it. Whatever.
Right.
A pistol is labeled as anything less than a 16-inch barrel. Okay, so handguns fall under this category, and what you would consider AR or AK pistols. These are ones without a stock on it, right?
Right.
So a few years ago, they came out with braces, which were it looks similar to a stock, but it's technically made for someone who has handicaps, where you could attach it to your arm and shoot it one-handed. So say if you only had one hand or one arm, you could shoot a rifle-style pistol because it was less than a 16-inch barrel.
Right.
Well, then the Supreme Court said it's okay if you shoulder these accessories, because even though it is not a stock, it does not change its design if you shoulder it. So essentially, if it was designed to wrap the strap around your forearm and use it as a one-handed gun, it does not change its intended design if you decide to shoulder this accessory instead of strapping it on your arm. And so, fine. We sold them for years, and now all of a sudden, the ATF decides now that a shoulder brace, or not shoulder brace, a arm brace for guns with less than a 16-inch barrel is now considered a short-barreled rifle, which requires registration and a federal tax stamp and an enhanced background check with fingerprints and everything else. So, they've offered that anyone with one, once this rule is put on their books, can register it without paying the $200 tax stamp.
Nah.
So they'll waive the tax stamp fee and they'll let you register it. Now, hold on. Hear me out. Short-barreled rifles is already a thing. It's not like this is already a tax stamp you could register for and get for the last 20, 30 plus years or more. So it's not like this is a new thing that they've just come out with. They're just saying you can now register it as one without paying the tax stamp because we've allowed it to be sold, but you'll have to register it now. So, A, fuck you guys, because why put your average American in this dilemma? And B, may I also add that if you decide not to register this or your pistol with a brace on it, if you decide not to register it, right, and the 120-day grace period runs out, this is the exact same charge federally as having an illegally possessed machine gun.
Holy shit.
It is a 10-year prison sentence.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Fuck me, dude. That's fucking great. Just completely changed the entire fucking shit overnight, and then you got 120 days not
and
be a
may
fucking
I add,
butt-fuck prison.
This is not a law. It's a fucking regulation.
Right.
Riddle me this, fucking Batman. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, am I tripping or what?
Regulation.
Have we not fought wars over less?
We have. Taxes.
Yeah. A 10-year prison. Now, hear me out. Also,
listening.
So there are private writings of the Founding Fathers. Okay. They're all out there. And one of which, and I forget who wrote it, but I believe it was to Thomas Jefferson. I could be wrong. If I'm not right, I know this is an actual writing. I'm pretty sure it's Thomas Jefferson. It was like a shipping company or something, and they were writing to Thomas Jefferson because like their boats kept getting fucking robbed by pirates, and they were like, "Yo, we keep getting robbed. This is fucked up. Can we have cannons?" And Thomas Jefferson was like, "Of course you could have fucking cannons. Why would you ask? Like, it's the Second Amendment. It's why we put it in there. Of course you can have cannons. You should be able to have any weapon we have, like the military has."
Fucking sick.
So, if it's the Supreme Court's job to decide whether or not any regulation, quote unquote, is in keeping with the traditions and standards of the Second Amendment of the United States, I'm going to say that Thomas Jefferson could probably give a fuck less about barrel length less than 16 inches with a stock if he was allowing merchant companies and ships to have fucking cannons to protect themselves against pirates.
Right.
So in closing, fuck you guys at the ATF because you're a bunch of pussies. And
Ditto.
Also, you're not Congress. And you can't make laws. And your regulations
are dog shit.
Are based on complete and utter bullshit. And your higher-ups and people in charge are the most thoughtless, most brainless,
Ding.
intellectually diminished,
Ding.
and just completely ill-informed on the subject in which you are somehow managed to be in charge.
Ding.
And so on that, suck my dick.
Suck his dick. All right, this has been the Pablo Verse podcast. Thanks for listening. This is the second one. Got many more coming. And don't fall into the algorithm. Have a good day, guys.
Peace.